It's like that nursery rhyme, the porridge pot. Boil porridge, boil pot, boil. And she doesn't know how to turn it off. So it like just makes... Why are you looking at me like that?
I haven't heard that nursery rhyme.
You've never heard that nursery rhyme?
Boil, pot, boil, 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 and then the porridge.
The woman, she gets a magic porridge pot, and she says, boil, pot, boil, and it makes porridge.
And then she gets eaten by bears.
No. And then she says, stop, pot, stop, and it stops. But the mother gets it, goes, boil, pot, boil, but she forgets how to stop it, because I don't know. She's like...
She's an idiot. Yeah. Like, there's two commands. You're telling me there are two commands. Yeah. And she's just like, oh, God, what's the other one?
Yeah. And then it overflows and the village gets drowned by porridge. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Short Fuse. I'm Duncan Roberts, and I'm here with Ollie O'Donoghue, who's got quite a smug smirk on his face. What's going on, Ollie?
Well, they can't see that. That's just for you.
Okay. Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
I thought you were going to say it in a jolly way.
No, I said it in a smug way.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's our new episode of Short Fuse, and in the rapidly evolving landscape of podcasts, it's not just about conversations anymore. It's about ideas. And the technology world is evolving and shifting and I can't do it anymore. I don't have any more.
So I know exactly what the point you're making here.
I was going to try and segue into our choice of topic for today by doing that, but I can't.
So did you ask ChatGPT to do it for you?
I didn't ask ChatGPT. I didn't ask ChatGPT. I was just trying to use as many ChatGPT isms in my introduction as possible, because apparently that's what everyone does now.
How are you going to verbally do an M dash?
I don't know. Or an emoji, like an emoji that they pop in a LinkedIn post.
Yeah, rocket ship.
Yeah. Can't do that. I was going to say...
You have to talk it through.
Yeah.
In the rapidly evolving world, rocket ship emoji, shooting star.
Yeah.
The risk is that you do that, right? So you do a ChatGPT opening, and then we get, like, this is the most popular episode, and they're just like, oh, it's just much slicker than usual. You guys really nailed it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about dating, which I think, seeing as it's Valentine's Day fairly soon, is very topical, Ollie.
Should we release this on Valentine's Day?
Well, yeah, maybe. That's still a few days, a little way away. We might want to have it available for Valentine's Day.
Our listeners won't want to wait that long.
No, that's our listener.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hi, Keith.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about dating today, and I think based on the format of this podcast, where we go long or short on an idea or a technology or something, we have to vote on whether we think there's a future in dating or not. That sounds fairly dystopian. What do you reckon, Ollie?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a future in it. It's definitely, I'm struggling to see the short side. I mean, I guess a more interesting one would be like online dating.
Yeah.
So is online dating got a future or not? Because I think for me that's less certain. I'd go short on online dating.
Okay.
I think it's been catastrophic.
I think we can build in like going on real dates as well, because cost of living. Who can afford to go out for dinner anymore?
Yeah, it's very true.
Cinema.
IRL dating. As
IRL.
the kids,
that's
what
the cool kids say. Yeah. So, like, let's think about this in terms of dating as a whole, and we can vote on various subsections of it. So, you think online dating, you're short on that?
Yeah, I think dating generally will still have to exist, unless we're just kind of paired off by a system. So like here is your date. That's it.
Yeah. Here is your partner.
Yeah, right. You don't even get to go on the date.
Choice.
You just move to year 3 of the relationship immediately. Just like, this person's now living with you. I hope it goes well, but also no refunds.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't come back to us. The system is the system. Yeah. Exactly. So I think real date. We're gonna have to. You still have to get to know someone in some way. But I think online dating has passed its prime. And there's a couple. I mean, there's a demographic shift in play right now, which is contributing to the demise of online dating. But there's loads of other, I've had forays into online dating, as you know, Duncan. Incredibly brief, because it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Or just successful. Anyway,
I wouldn't describe myself as successful.
So yeah, I think there is, from what I read, I mean, I haven't been in the dating world for a very long time, but from what I read, online dating at the moment is just incredibly difficult. Why are you so short on it?
Well, I'm from a macro view. The biggest issue I think at play right now is that God, we're talking about AI again, but algorithms and AI play a really important part. It's very opaque how some of those decisions are made. So, like, why a particular individual has been pushed towards you, and you swipe left or right. To use the Tinder example, but also whether or not so does the dating app really want you to pair off, or does it want you to just continually churn through, let's say, bad dates, so you go back to the app?
Because if it's about engagement, they have a vested interest in keeping you on their platform.
Well, of course, yeah. Why would they want you to go? I mean, Hinge, for example, which is one of the fastest growing. Their tagline is the dating app designed to be deleted. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't do their stock well, would it? If instead of the usual stat, which is like we have X many additional subscribers this month, this quarter, or this year, and have accrued this much revenue. If they said like, oh, we've lost subscribers, but that's literally the nature of our business. We're gonna we're gonna slowly starve out. That's the dream. It doesn't work. So their goal really is to keep you on there.
Yeah.
And they'll argue, no, we want everyone to go off and be happy, and there'll just be a constant slew of singles looking, and we'll pair those off as well. But that's not sustainable. You can't.
No, and I guess my point here is that our relationships forming online and just staying online. Do you know what I mean? So when do you bite that bullet and meet that person in person and ditch the app?
Well, so we've talked about this. You know what I did, right? So I've did a brief period of research on dating apps. We'll call it that. Mm-hmm. And I thought the most arduous part of this is going to be having to meet loads of people. That's got to be the most annoying part. So I created a profile that was just quite unappealing. No, like, I mean, obviously it's the baseline. It was already unappealing because there were pictures of me, but I made it more unappealing. So like bad photos, that type of thing, in the hope that like one or two people would be interested, and they would be the right people. I would have got, to use the economic phrase, I would have got my garden to weed itself. I wouldn't have had to have gone on 100 dates to find the right person. The problem is that strategy worked too well, and no one was interested. So it's actually worked 100% success rate. I solved the problem, which was like, I don't have to go on any dates now. So
yeah, well,
perfect.
It's a good strategy. It's like that, know me at my worst, so you can love me at my best, or whatever. I don't know, what is it? Something along those lines.
No one wanted to know me at all. so like I say, problem solved.
But there is an increasing. We're bringing AI into this. It's very difficult not to bring AI into this. There's the whole thing of AI bots on dating apps trying to scam people, and people putting AI generated photos up that aren't really them, and people being catfished, I guess. It wouldn't be catfished by you, although there's kind of reverse catfishing with you. They go, oh, look at this dreadful looking human, and you turn up in person and you're Adonis-like.
Marginally less dreadful.
But so there's that aspect of it which is causing problems. But then I've mentioned this on the podcast before, like character AI, where people are almost building relationships with AI bots, and that's the whole basis of that film Her, isn't it? Where he's built a relationship with Scarlett Johansson as an artificial intelligent girlfriend. But there might be a generation of people who just don't ever. It's a bit much to say don't ever, but they're so focused on building relationships with AI personalities that they never get to get off the app, as it were, go and touch grass and go and meet anybody. So is online dating, has it reached its point where it's bad for people meeting rather than helping?
Well, I think, like I said, there's a demographic shift that seems to be playing out, which is we're millennials, right, Duncan? I think
I am literally on the cusp of being a millennial. Yeah,
I'll generously allow you into our ranks.
Thank you in that so case, much.
On just for this podcast. But the younger generation coming in are not using them at all in the same way that we did. And they were new, right? So there's a lot to be said that actually it felt really innovative.
But are they not using them at all, and therefore meeting people in bars and, I don't know, dancing clubs? Dancing clubs.
The only two avenues where you can meet people dancing. The discotheque is where they're...
or the ballroom.
I guess so. I mean, if you look at the subscription rates, I guess so. They're going elsewhere.
Or they're just not meeting people. And there's more single people. That has to be a possibility, doesn't it?
I don't know if the data on it, but yeah, there does seem to be a trend around being single and being happy more so than previous generations. For me, some of the most interesting parts of its downfall have involved AI, but used in slightly different ways. So when generative AI came into the fore and ChatGPT came into the fore, one of the things that people were using it for was they were kind of adding all of the data from someone's profile, let's say, so all of that person's interests and other bits of information that they have on their profile, and saying like, okay, what's the best introductory remark I could make? ChatGPT, help me be witty and interesting and stuff like that.
In the rapidly evolving landscape of dating, you seem approachable. Hello.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Rocket ship emoji, shooting star. But people using it in that way, and there's that kind of that lack of authenticity doubled down, and then so there's like that part of it, which is people using AI to try and influence dating. You have the bit in the middle, I guess, which is the opaque algorithms. Like, are they really trying to get everyone to pair off? Is that really what's supposed to be taking place here? Do the companies want that? And then right at the other end, you've got like, so the founder of Bumble, and you'll love this because it's something we've been talking about for a long time. The CEO of Bumble is talking about how agentic AI means that in the future, you'll have a concierge that goes on dates with other people's concierges on your behalf. And then you have a much, that kind of period of...
That is grim, disgusting.
Isn't it? What I find really interesting about that is like, obviously this, I genuinely think this industry is in trouble, right? So there's all this, if you look at subscriber rates and stuff like that, there's all sorts of concerns about how sustainable this is. Again, I've mentioned the demographic shift part. So like, this is like, hey, we've got another cool thing that's gonna win people back. This feels a little bit like that. But the other part of it is that's literally a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
There is literally a Black Mirror episode about that from the AI's perspective, where they're kind of, falling in love with the same person over and over again. And then it kind of zooms out and it just, hey, 99% match. And that's all that's taking place. It's like,
But that is what you spoke about earlier on, where you're partnered up via an AI agent, like that's horrific. It is that dystopian kind of landscape.
Well, and you can, steer into the dystopia. And it's exactly so one of the comments we made when we were talking about sport is like, there could be a point, given all of the data that's collected from genetic material to modeling of how good an athlete will be, that rather than actually have the athlete compete, you just go like, oh no, you've won. We did the maths and you've won.
Yeah.
And whether or not that enters in here, it's just like, no, this is the person, and kind of that's it. And like, just to describe how easy that dystopian world exists is it's kind of by exclusion. So if everyone else is sort of happy with it, right? So everyone's just like, I do just want to meet one person. That's cool. Then you sort of have no choice.
Yeah.
Because all of those people are taken out of the scenario immediately. The app kind
of be in the discotheque on your own.
Right. Yeah. With you could be like, no, I'm going to meet naturally. Yeah. And you'd be in the discotheque with the one person that they've recommended anyway, because they're the only person that's left or like, if I find it genuinely fascinating just how particularly things like Black Mirror play out. I mean, this is the CEO of one of the biggest dating apps going like, hey, I've come up with this great idea. And it's from Black Mirror. Like
that does strike me as fairly horrific. Like what, like, and jokes aside, doing that introduction and saying all the kind of the generative AI isms, one of the things that we see now is like content that goes on the internet is all so generically the same. This kind of catfishing, if you somehow manage to kind of lure somebody in via your AI bot talking to their AI bot, or them talking to your AI bot through some kind of conversation that matches up to their interests, when you get together in person, I don't have anything to say. Oh no, I don't think that. That's what my bot thinks. Like it's just a complete separation of human and AI. And how do you counter that? So people are doing that now. I'd love to know if anybody's got experience with that, where somebody turns up in reality and they've got no chat because they've got AI to do it all for them.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happens,
it would be,
because that's...
If AI did it, like, I don't know about you, but like, you ask AI to tell you a joke, it's the most cringe thing I've ever read.
Oh, people like that. Dad jokes are back in. People like it. Seriously. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But like, you're right. There's the other interesting part of it is, I've forgotten.
So interesting.
Saying it, it's so interesting. My mind has wandered into more fertile realms. Oh, here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing. Bear with me. Let's say this concierge thing happens, right? And it gathers all this data and it knows everything about you. The nature of that data means it's almost certainly going to come up with the wrong conclusion. And there's research that's shown this, right? So, and I can't remember the study. I'll find it. I mean, we should do listeners' notes, because we're constantly referring to studies and then be like, well, I don't know. I can't tell you what it is. I don't know the name or any searchable information on it. But they did some studies just about dating generally, and they got people to fill in a questionnaire of like absolutely must not haves, right? So like must not be a smoker, must not be blah blah blah, like their list, and everyone had different things, obviously. And then they'd go into like a speed dating environment in, I guess, lab conditions, romantic lab conditions, and then they'd give feedback on it. So they'd meet people normally, let's say 20, 30 people, and then they'd rate those people out of 10. And what they found is that the bit beforehand, so the things like, oh, they can't be this, they can't be this, they can't be this, I certainly wouldn't go out with them, just didn't have any impact whatsoever.
Yeah. Because humans are irrational.
Right. And you have no idea who you're going to be attracted to or how much value. So it might be like, oh, they can't be a smoker. Yeah. And then you meet someone who's perfect in every other part. And you're just like, well, actually, maybe I don't care about that bit as much as I thought I did, because all of these things now outweigh it massively. So taking those two things we understand about human psychology, which they kind of make sense. Like we've all been in that situation where it's like, oh, I didn't expect myself to get on so well with this person. I thought they'd be a nightmare, and actually they're fine, and I find them very entertaining and they're fun. So we all get that. It makes absolute sense to us. AI is not going to be able to pick that up unless it's just constantly exposed to every single irrational thing we do. Yeah. And even then, it's not going to be able to get into that kind of really indefinable thing that humans do, where it's just like, oh no, I like that person. Yeah. Oh, why do you like that person? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. Well, how's AI supposed to do it if we can't even, say like, oh, it's because they wear really nice hats.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like hats. Like, if we can't do that, then how's AI supposed to do it? So all of this online dating is based on kind of this illusion of increasing levels of science helping you find your perfect person. It just doesn't make sense. It's not.
Love
isn't
not scientific, Ollie. Love isn't scientific.
Despite my best efforts. But the other... God, that makes me sound like I'm cloning people in a lab.
I know. I was like, what, you're creating a Frankenbride or something?
Yeah. I don't have the funding. It's a shame. But the other dimension to it is that just because it says like, hey, look, you like hats and you hate smokers, let's say, so this person's perfect. 3 days in to that relationship, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. You could hate the person after 3 days, or they could be someone who hates hats and smokes, and you marry them and live happily ever after 25 days. Like the dating part has no bearing on the success of the relationship afterwards. So again, and an algorithm can't do anything about that, because there are fixed variables for hey, I know this thing about you, even if they're correct, which we've already established they're probably not. As the relationship develops, the amount of variables goes through the roof on a day-by-day basis.
Yeah.
So it could be like, oh God, they snore, or they have night terrors. So
or their third toe is slightly longer than their second toe, and that disgusts me.
Yeah, even disgraceful things like that, Duncan. Or they have these political views that I find abhorrent, which perhaps might be hold more weight. But who knows, right?
Who knows?
Again, there's that irrationality to it. Yeah,
some things matter more to people than other people. That's just the way it goes. Yeah,
but that just multiplies the variables, because that's two people who will both have different ways of ascribing value to things.
Yeah.
So none of it adds up to me. The online dating, none of it adds up.
So do you think that? Let's come on to real dating in a minute and meeting people and the issues around that, like economically, because I know you'll love to get into that kind of stuff. But do you think there's a future for online dating if it recognises those things and continues, or do you think it's completely done for?
I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done for. I think it's got a target market, right? So there are people that want relationships like that, and some people strike it lucky. And actually, I've got some friends who have met people on dating apps and are now happily married, right? So there are parts of it that work. Where I think it's coming under a lot of scrutiny, that means it's just not going to be as impactful, perhaps, to new generations coming in. Is all of the feedback just says it's really stressful and unpleasant. Just being exposed to that many people in high velocity, let's say, you're just scrolling through endless amounts of people. They're not liking you back. It causes all sorts of mental health challenges. And I think that's coming under scrutiny, and rightly so. The second part is there is just this big grey area over what is the real motive behind the apps? Mm-hmm. Do they genuinely want me to meet someone and live happily ever after and never subscribe to their app ever again? That feels unlikely. And even if there are some really altruistic apps that want that, people aren't going to believe it, surely. Yeah. Why would you? You can't buy that story. I just don't think they're going to be that impactful. And I think what happened for, again, just to say that, I guess, not necessarily millennials, but certainly over the last 10 years where millennials have probably been the core market, it felt incredibly innovative compared to other alternatives. Mm-hmm. Nothing has changed. If you look at the underlying mechanics, even the algorithms they use, nothing has changed. There are new features and stuff like that. Hey, you can do a video message now rather than just pictures or whatever. But it doesn't change the game or the nature of what's going on.
It's just scrolling through people and saying yes or no, basically, and then chatting.
And that creates an even bigger problem, which is if you scroll through, let's say 500 pictures of people, your view of what's attractive will be different at the other end. Mm-hmm. Because you're creating an average effectively of all of those people, whether or not you're doing it consciously or subconsciously. So when you bump into someone in the street, it's different. It's because you're bumping into that one person in the street. When you're exposed to 1,000 people in your area, or as advertisements on social media keep telling me, there are loads of attractive people in the area just desperate to meet
I'm not sure those are the right. Let's move on.
They're just desperate to meet up with me, Duncan. according to these adverts. There's just these hordes of people. But in the app, it presents that image, right? Here are all of these people that are and you'll adjust how you react to that the more you're exposed
you become
to it,
more picky. You'll become more picky, won't you? You'll be if there's so many, then I can take my time and choose, and it's up to me to choose. And I there's an element of that which is a bit conceited. How dare I think that I am in that position to be judging all this many people at once?
Yeah, well, the big thing it does is creates decision fatigue.
Yeah,
so that's the massive one. It's just I'm overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed by it. In the same way that if you're exposed to 500 of anything, and you're pick one, you're gonna be overwhelmed by it. And I think that's the sense of kind of emotional fatigue that people walk away from the apps with, and that's why there are all sorts of mental health warnings attached to them now. And if you look at the amount of time, I think Ofcom released a report recently. Again, I can't remember the exact one. I think there was a US one. The average time spent on the apps is nosediving because people are just like, this isn't healthy, and I feel bad. This isn't a positive experience for me. To the point where there are now apps that so Thursday is one where you can only do the bulk of the administrative task of sifting through and matching with people one day a week on Thursday to counter. That's their whole model. Point of differentiation is it counters the constant fatigue of being exposed to the dating world in the way that existing apps do it.
And I think there's a parallel with broader social media here, isn't there? Where Facebook has created, or Meta, has created AI influencers and AI personas to become profiles on Facebook and Instagram and all of those different platforms because they believe people want to interact with them. And perhaps that will happen more and more as users decline, or in the search for engagement. You will be interacting with more and more, not even like a bot that is operating on behalf of somebody else. It's just a bot. And maybe all you want is that kind of companionship. And that becomes the realm of these kind of dating apps where you're just, I just need somebody to talk to. And it doesn't matter if it's real or if they're real or not.
Well, and there are, like you say, that's already happening a lot. There are a lot of apps that do exactly that. It's a companion bot that's like, hey, how was your day? Literally as basic as that. Like, how was work today? Because people feel they need that companionship, which is a bit,
depressing.
Yeah, it is. And are dating apps and online dating making that worse?
Well, it's the next logical step, isn't it? Because if you just spend all your time on dating apps and you don't delete that dating app and they're farming engagement, then your next logical step is, why does this person need to be real?
Yeah,
and it sounds absurd, but character AI, all these different apps that kind of promote AI characters or girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, they exist and they have a market and they're getting investment. They wouldn't be doing that if there weren't people using them.
Right. Yeah, I think their user base is quite high.
Yeah.
Compared to what you would think. But you're right. I think there's a point where if you're spending most of your time engaging with humans in a very perhaps this isn't the right word, but it's certainly in this area, like transactional way. I like swipe right. Hey, how are you? How's your day? That type of thing. Then the gap between that and just talking to a bot isn't that massive.
Yeah.
Compared to, let's say, like most of your engagements are in real life, at work or wherever. Then being told like, also you're now going to engage with a bot on your phone. That's a massive gulf that people would struggle to move towards. Whereas jumping from a dating app to a bot companion, I mean, more so when you've got, like I say, Bumble CEO talking about this idea where you have a concierge agent. Like, let's say that goes out and finds the most practical option for you, which could be another bot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no reason why that's not something that would happen.
And I guess this is all leading to a conversation, a pretty big jump, but it's a jump nonetheless, of demographic collapse. So fewer people are using dating apps, fewer people are meeting up. Cost of living is an issue for going out and about. A lot of people meet in pubs, clubs, social environments that they can't afford to go to anymore. Having a child is exceptionally expensive. People don't want children because they can't afford it, or they can't afford that lifestyle, or it's just too much for them. Bam. You've just got an aging generation more and more, and all the issues that go along with that. It's part of the picture, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the stats for it. But you're right. There's more single people than ever now. So being single is like a statistical likelihood much later in life for more people. And you're right. There are a lot of, I mean, particularly in the developed world, there is, to varying degrees of intensity, demographic collapse.
Yeah.
Where the population is aging and there just aren't, predicted there aren't enough young people to fill the ranks. I mean, there's an important point to be made, which is all of the 18-year-olds have already been born. So in kind of 17 years, all the 18-year-olds have already been born. There's nothing you can't just be like, okay, let's quickly grow some more kids and let's grow them at 5. So a lot of this data you can predict the level of impact it's going to have, and for the developed world it's quite stark, really. And there are countries already dealing with that. It actually doesn't take a tremendous amount to create issues. If you look at Japan, I think Germany's going through demographic challenges right now. It's not like there aren't any young people in Germany, but it creates concerns around things like pensions, capital markets react in different ways, productivity faces a variety of different challenges just from a relatively small disconnect.
If there's more older people than there are younger people, it starts to cause problems.
Yeah, or even if you anticipate there being more older people than younger people, because you've got to think, so okay, the older people are going to be out of work for longer because they're living longer, and someone's going to need to pay them. And like I say, look, hey, we know this amount of people have been born, and this is the year it happens. We can't just suddenly grow economically productive 25-year-olds to fill that gap. Like, we are where we are, and then that impacts a variety of other things. So, like, the futures market being a classic example of it. So, hey, we think pensions are going to struggle to be funded because there aren't going to be enough people putting money in 20 years' time. And that creates all sorts of problems. Like I say, you don't necessarily need to have that Children of Men scenario where the births have all stopped for the impact to happen. It can happen relatively quickly just by looking at the economic data.
Well, this took a fairly depressing turn.
You started it. That wasn't me that time. Normally it's me. You started it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, so online dating, AI bots, demographic collapse.
Complete demographic collapse.
Okay, well, look, so we didn't really... you voted. I didn't really vote. But I think that there is, correct me if I'm wrong, but agreement that something needs to change and something needs to happen to online dating for it to improve or be a viable option in the future. And there are many issues that young people face, this being one of them. So fingers crossed something can happen. We don't know what that is. Do we have any ideas about what that might be?
I've absolutely no idea.
Well, I mean, we're past that now.
I can, quite. Yeah. I can just look at the stats and be like, oh dear, that's all I can offer.
So, it would be interesting to see how this one plays out. I guess the thing is that with human interaction, things often surprise us. So there will be ways in which this happens. There was an article, I think, on the BBC the other day about how lots of people are meeting on climbing walls these days, and different things will come out and surprise us that we didn't necessarily expect. So fingers crossed for those economic policies, people will meet in different ways. One thing I want to do is say, if anybody's listening and has any thoughts on this topic, any other topics that we've mentioned and spoke about in the past, or has any things that they want us to discuss, then you can email us on shortfusepod@gmail.com. So get in touch. Happy to hear from you. We'll do what we can to respond and answer any questions or topics or anything like that going forward. So please get in touch. It'd be nice. Keith. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back soon with another episode. Hopefully we'll get this one out by Valentine's Day. And I wish you all a lovely day, and I hope that you meet the right person. Say bye, Ollie.
Goodbye.
Have I met the right person, Ollie, and you? Are you going to send me a Valentine's Day?
We didn't do it through an app. Through an employment agency. Paired us up against our will.
Will you be sending me a Valentine's Day card?
No, I don't believe in cards.
Oh, okay. All right. See you later, everyone.
Same.
Bye.